Crime never changes in video games, and it's always at the forefront. Villains will always try to rob people, harm people, make the good citizens of every city and civilization in every game suffer for their own egotistical, selfish desires. In some games, you meekly talk to people about crime. Others, you even join the criminals to spoil them at their own games. But in this one, we fight crime as a knight, the dark enforcer of justice, the Batman.
Batman's had a lot of games over the years based on his various films and TV series, but the Arkham series just sort of appeared out of nowhere at the time. Though in doing so made gamers acutely aware of how much we wanted and needed a game like Batman Arkham Asylum. For this video I'm actually playing the HD remaster from the Return to Arkham bundle on Xbox One, but I've also owned this game on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and even after all those playthroughs I still enjoy going back to the Asylum for another night in Gotham's loony bin. The game starts with Batman delivering the Joker to the Asylum after he seemingly has given himself up to be arrested. We slowly make our way through to patient transfer and get the feeling that something's very wrong with Joker's motivations. No later than about half a minute after Batman is separated from Joker, he breaks out and begins his plan to usurp the authorities and security checks with the help of Harley Quinn, and before long, he's in control of the majority of the facility.
Be honest though, we all saw it coming.
As Batman, our goal is to stop Joker's nefarious plans, subdue any thugs that get in our way, and ultimately lock up all escaped master criminals on the island. Luckily for Batman, even though he's not very well equipped at the start of our journey, Bats is still more than capable of beating up entire squads of bruisers with ease. Plus, due to the advanced gadgets Batman has, we can use his detective vision to allow us to track leads on developments in the Asylum's downfall. Eventually, we find that Joker's been working on a kind of advanced Titan drug formula which can turn normal people into monstrous beasts. Joker wants to create an army of them to terrorize Gotham and tries to keep Batman at arm's length until he can tie up loose ends and tighten his control over Arkham. Thus, to slow us down, Joker continually puts us in the path of formidable opponents such as Bane and Harley Quinn, as well as life and death situations involving the guards and staff members of the Asylum. Though one big problem with this is the game's insistence on using bull baiting techniques on the Titan enemies. The boss fights, however, are masterfully done in their presentation. Now, Bane starts things off with the same stale combat mechanics of the Titans, but other bosses like Poison Ivy and Killer Croc add a bit of change from the norm. Plus, Batman also gets to become an apex predator. The stealth sections of the game allow Batman to even the odds against groups of armed gunmen. Now obviously, Bats isn't bulletproof, so we get to slink around the rooms using vents, floor grates and detective vision to locate targets and stay out of trouble. Plus there are loads of gargoyle statues everywhere which Batman can grapple to. Does it make sense for there to be so many? Not really. It's fine though. Don't worry about it. Plus as Batman gains new gadgets and abilities, not only does fighting get a bit more varied, but also the Predator modes begin to get more dynamic. And if that wasn't enough, there's a whole other element to the gameplay full of puzzles, platforming and mystery solving. The Riddler trophies. The Riddler's been busy since being incarcerated, and throughout his stay he somehow managed to stash and create 240 of the bloody things. Plus, as the world's greatest detective, we're perfectly equipped to solve all of the Riddler's dastardly schemes. And if we solve all of them, we get to send a message to the police to locate him and put him back in his cell.
What? You did it? You must have cheated. There is no way you could have beaten me. Well, you asked for it, Batman. My final challenge for the whole of Gotham is just seconds away. What? Sirens. The police. You cheated, Batman. You couldn't have outsmarted me. Police, open up! No. I said open the door, now! Now! Down on the ground! Down on the ground! No! Tell me, how did you work out where I was? Do you hear me? I, Edward Nigma,
Take that, smarty pants.
Not to mention, with particular trophies complete, we can unlock challenge maps which put us through our paces with both the combat and predator modes. Not to mention the fact that we unlock a huge roster of information regarding characters from the series, interview tapes which illustrate the madness of our foes, and even 3D modelled trophies of the characters in the game. And for me, the reason I love this game even compared to its far superior sequel Arkham City is due to it having some of the most iconic moments in a Batman experience rolled into one game, and all of them are involved with Scarecrow. Such as when we find Mr. and Mrs. Wayne in a couple of body bags in the morgue.
Mom?
Help us, Bruce! Don't let us die!
You know, as you do. To the flashback of Bruce walking through Crime Alley at the scene of his parents' murder.
I know you don't feel like answering me, but it's the only way to catch who did this.
To the final moment which shocked everyone who played this game for the first time when the game crashes.
Did anyone catch the game last night?
Only for Batman to be taken to Arkham at the start of the game with the inmates running the asylum. Oh, and Scarecrow looks like this.
You're in my world now.
I'm not scared. You're scared.
However, with all the supervillains subdued, guard staff accounted for, and dilemmas prevented, Joker puts on a party for us. Yep.
You should all be in prison. Put those party hats down.
Is he okay?
Being the huge egomaniac that he is, the Joker puts on a show for the whole of Gotham. He injects Batman with the Titan Venom strain in the hopes of changing him into a monster, yet through sheer force of will, Batman manages to stave off the transformation. Unamused with this, Joker then injects himself with the Titan and becomes what can only be described as ugly. That said, ugly certainly is a dumb boss fight. Essentially, we just run around in circles until he runs off to pose for the news helicopter and sends in some goons to fight us. We beat them up, pull him down, punch him in the chops, and repeat. It's really lame. But with a rather cool final punch from an explosive gel-laced fist, we manage to take down the Joker, reinstate law in Arkham, and end the experiment to see how an asylum fares when run by a madman. Now, while it's fair to say that this game is almost 8 years old at this point, and it does look a little bit dated, the HD remaster does a lot to iron out some of the kinks when it comes to facial animation and some of the weird anomalies when it comes to the expressions on people's faces or even some of the action sequences. But to be fair, this game never really looked that bad to begin with, and now it gets away with it pretty well. Now, one of the biggest accolades this game has is the fact that it laid the groundwork for a very successful series that had some ups and downs, but compared to other games, there really isn't anything out there like it, and it's basically set the bar for superhero games. Now, obviously, this is a single player only game, and there's a lot to do with the Riddler trophies, but if you're not bothered on that, you'll still get a lot out of the story mode and some of the challenge maps or whatever you dip into, and there's a lot here. The problem is that you might say, it gets a bit tedious here and there, there's 3 other games in the series, and what Arkham City does, it does better, such as navigating Gotham itself, but I really love the feel of this game, the ambience, the way that you're in an asylum full of deranged and violent thugs and inmates really gives this game a lot of charm, and I love how it all ties together and how these supervillains get involved. So for me, it's not as good as Arkham City, but it's still a really good game. Now with that said, I must go. Gotham needs me.
Go back to your cell, or I'll be after you next.